We were approached a few months ago by Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney.
Hey guys, in this video, I am interviewing Kerry Evans, who is the disability coordinator for the Wrexham AFC Football Association in Wales, where I live. And they've done some remarkable work in how they have helped bring accessibility to a football ground with autism-friendly capabilities. Absolutely fantastic. This video is sponsored by Soundsory headphones. Now, if you haven't heard of Soundsory headphones, here's a little bit about them. Our Soundsory headphones, which come in a snazzy case, are these awesome things here. So Soundsory programs help children and adults on the autism spectrum with sensory processing disorder and special educational needs. A company that's recommended by therapists and professionals globally, Soundsory is a multi-sensory music movement program. The Soundsory headphones are equipped with dynamic filters and bone conduction technology that helps improve motor skills and cognitive development in children and adults. So kind of like you put these on and then you like go through the list of programs and you take their like actual like so many days or so many weeks program, which you do every day, and then it tells you to do different stretches while listening to different music. I've tried this thing for like you know, however long I did it for. I think I did it for like a week, and it was absolutely amazing. This thing actually really was fascinating, which is why I wanted to work with them again. I did a video with them before, but I wanted to do another one, and these guys kindly sponsored this video, and I love it. So the Soundsory works on the fine, gross and visual motor skills in children, leading to enhancements in handwriting and drawing, balance and posture, and eye-hand coordination, and sport-like skills. Now, Soundsory is designed to be safe and effective and is helping children on the autism spectrum with auditory sensory processing disorder and other developmental delays. Now, if you guys want to get your hands on one of these units, I will leave a link down below with a code, so you can actually get 10% off with the link if you want to purchase this from me down below. So I just want to talk about the program. So the program consists of a specially designed music processed with neuroacoustic modifications, as well as a series of movement-based exercises. It's a 40-day program divided into 2 sections of 20 days each, with a break of 1 month in between. Each day consists of 30 minutes of music and exercise. Soundsory helps improve fine gross motor skills in children and things like handwriting and balance and posture and hand-eye coordination, which is super, super awesome. You get 9 hours of battery time in these headphones when they're fully charged, and you also get access to the online exercise videos with an option to switch to Bluetooth mode and as a regular headset. You know, you can use these things as your daily kind of listeners, which is pretty cool because they're just super snazzy, super cool, and so you can actually use them as your Bluetooth headset for your phone, and you can also discreetly do your program. So that's super awesome. Please check them out. Like I said, link in the description below. You get 10% off with this, and I highly recommend it.
All right, life's been a bit mad.
Has it been crazy? Yeah.
Oh gosh, yeah, more than you could ever imagine since news broke of our new famous owners.
Yeah, I did see. I saw somebody was talking about it, which I will get to. But I was actually going to try and speak to you guys about, I don't know, about 6 or 7 months ago. I was trying to, but coronavirus happened and everything else happened, and then I was talking about you guys with my girlfriend about disability access for sports arenas and things like that, and where we came to a conversation, and then you guys were in the news again, and it reminded me. I was like, oh yeah, it took me ages to find your contact details because I couldn't remember the name of the profile you're using, and it was just
right,
took forever. But anyway, I'm going to be doing a video on I wanted to do a video on what you guys are doing because I saw like a short video that you guys had made of like a guy and a little boy, like a man and a little boy. I think it was man and his son walking around.
That was a fan who did that the very first time he visited. He came with his son to the quiet zone.
Yep.
I got up on a Sunday morning and news had broke and this video was everywhere, and it went down a storm, to be fair.
yeah, definitely. And that's kind of like what I was going to try and really talk about what you guys are doing in the club. So anyway, yeah, let's get into it. So thanks so much, Kerry, for taking the time to actually come and talk to me today. I know you guys have been super busy and there's all kinds of stuff going on.
No problem at all.
Which is amazing. And we met, didn't we? We met in Wrexham about 10 months ago, maybe? Yes,
at the National Autistic Society, their winter ball.
Yes, that was it. Yeah, I was almost a year
Yeah.
ago now, wasn't it, for the
Yes,
winter
it
ball?
was.
Yeah, and that was really good fun. That the food was great, and I was on my own as well. I had no assistant with me, which was difficult because I had to I drove there on my own, and then I had to do the talk. And that talk actually that I did there is on my YouTube channel. I did film it, so it's up on my channel, which is kind of cool.
Fantastic. Well, I was very inspired by what you did. I thought it was fantastic.
Thank you. That really means a lot. Thank you.
Yeah, very much so.
But I remember when we did speak, you said that you guys were doing some really interesting things with disability access, especially for like autistic people, in the Wrexham the Wrexham AFC club, and access to the stadium, or what do you call it? What's the actual name of the?
It is a stadium. Yeah.
Okay.
The racecourse stadium.
Racecourse Stadium. That's right. Yeah, the Racecourse. It's got an unusual name because it sounds like something else. The Racecourse Stadium.
It certainly does. Yes.
And then I googled after I spoke to you. I was quite inspired, and I saw this video that you said a fan had made where he was kind of going around and looking at the disability access kind of in the club itself, which was really interesting. Now I have, because I'm a musician as well. I've played in the clubhouse that's next to the.
Oh, in the Centenary Club.
Yeah, yes. It's a bit bizarre how to get into it. Actually, I found it quite complex. Like you go around the backside of the stadium,
you certainly do,
and then you kind of got a small kind of track, and then there's like this club, and it's fantastic inside. It really is impressive. But you've got, and then it's really bizarre how to get in there. Anyway, I played there a couple of times with a friend of mine who's a movie star called Tom Nicholas. He's in American Pie and stuff like that, and so he was playing.
Oh, wow.
He was playing the Wales Comic Con. After show party or something, and that's what I was doing. I was playing with him, you see, so I was his bass player. So that was kind of like, yeah, it was a weird time. That's the only time I've been to the football like club grounds or anything that's to do with the football club. But yes. I was really inspired by what you guys did, because then I was reading about anywhere else that had disability access on the level you guys provide in any other club, and I'll tell you now that there's multi-billion-dollar owned clubs that don't even have a tenth of what you guys kind of can do for disability access in the clubs, which is crazy, right? Because you think like
very much so, yeah.
Big clubs like that, you got to think, the fans that 1 in 100 of the fans is going to be on the autism spectrum, right? Of any club, and you got to think, how many fans go to matches, and it's crazy to think that there's no access there, right? And it really bugs me, that kind of stuff. This is why I wanted you on. So
I think it's, in my opinion, I think it's overlooked. I don't, these bigger Premiership clubs, they've got the funds to do it. I think it's something that's possibly overlooked rather than, I don't know.
Because they're kind of focused on the game, pardon the pun, but they're focused on the game of building a club to its like big capacity. What they're not focusing on is fan access or pleasing the fans, right? Which is a shame, because a lot of clubs I think miss that. They just see their fans as this like merchandise buyer rather than because the club is the fans at the end of the day. Where would you be if you didn't have supporters? You know what I mean? So. I think, I think you're right there. It's definitely overlooked. So do you want to introduce like what you do, who you are, and a little bit about like the background of what you're doing with the club?
Yeah, no problem at all. My name's Kerry Evans. I got the job at Wrexham AFC 3 years ago. My full title is Disability Liaison Officer at Wrexham AFC. I started the job very much thinking that possibly I was going to be meeting and greeting disabled fans on a match day. That role grew very quickly, but to be honest, I've led the role to the point of I could see what a difference things that I could put in place were making to our disabled fans at the club. And I very much work along the line of we shouldn't have any barriers at Wrexham AFC. Whoever wants to come, whatever disability, condition, however they are in life, if people want to come, they should be able to come. And whatever we have to put in place to make that happen, that's something we need to do. So I very much started looking at things that were lacking, and it came to my attention, in actual fact, a few years before my role, they had done an autism-friendly day at Wrexham AFC. So we'd had an autism-friendly game that was set up by our Disabled Supporters Association at Wrexham AFC. I then decided, when I came on board, I thought, well, why can't we put this in place for every game of the season? Families that are touched by autism should be welcomed and able to feel they can come in every game. So that was when I then linked up with Kerry Roberts, who's from National Autistic Society, the Wrexham branch.
Yep.
And I got in touch with her to say, what would I need to do to start on this path to make this happen? And to be honest, I'd gone with a list of things that in my own mind I decided were possible.
Yeah.
And we very much realised very quickly that what I was saying I could put in place was all perhaps we needed to do to make it happen.
Yeah.
Wow. So yeah, it's something that it means a lot to me that everybody who wants to come to our club feels accepted and can and is able to come to our club.
Definitely.
That we've put a number of things in place for the autism side of things so that people feel welcomed. We started off with, we now about 3 times a season, I put out that we do quiet walkabout sessions. That is that we, about 4:30 in the afternoon, we invite people to the stadium when the stadium is completely closed.
Yeah.
We invite them in, we show them where they can park on the day, where they get their tickets from on the day, where they can come through a quieter entrance on the day, so they don't have to go, because it came to my attention, people perhaps wouldn't be able to go through a turnstile because it's very enclosed. So we had a new entrance that we offered to people. We then set up a quiet zone, which is away from the noise majority of the stadium on a match day.
Yep.
We have put in place 2 accessible stewards who work that area every single match day, so that they are friendly faces. They are, they're there, and families are getting to know them so that people feel relaxed.
Yeah.
We made we made what used to be like a sale area. Yep. under our quiet zone. We made that into it's only very small, but it serves a fantastic purpose. It's a sensory room. We've got lighting in there, we've got books in there, we've got bean bags. Nice. It's very comfortable, and everybody has said it's absolutely fantastic, serves a great purpose. So we put a lot of thought into it. Things like we decided that people wouldn't be able to go and queue for food beverages, because in our concourse at half time there are thousands of people. That's really a big deal to somebody with autism. Yeah. So I put in place, we now have a service where somebody will come and take your food and drink order. They will go and get it for you. They bring it back to you in your seats. So they, in essence, apart from possibly going to the sensory room and to a toilet, which is adjacent to that sensory room, they don't need to move. Wow. We also put in place, we've got an arrangement with the club. People don't need in that area, they don't need to leave until all the crowds have left. So they don't need to be leaving with all the busy crowds. Yeah, I saw that stipulation on the site, actually, on your website. Yes. I've seen that bit, yeah. Yeah, so we've tried to put in as much work as we could. We offer out blankets in that area for when it's cold. We've got ponchos for when it's wet. We also put in, last season for the first time, I put in place an autism pack. So, and we give them those out free of charge. And in a pack is, you've got a Wrexham AFC bag that's quite a good quality bag for them people to keep. There's ear defenders, there's stress balls, there's all sorts of things that would hopefully help somebody calm down, or just be able to cope with the situations. We give those out free of charge to people who regularly come to our quiet area. Amazing. So we've really tried to work hard to we put out, I've had quiet cards made. Now they're given to the parents of people who use that area, or they're just to raise awareness. We have started doing autism friendly training through National Autistic Society, and I want that rolled out to all our staff, stewards, within the football club. We have started that, and some of us are trained. But the card, I just felt you can't expect a steward who perhaps doesn't work around people with issues of whatever level to understand how to deal with somebody or understand how to have empathy. So I felt that by having a card we have now had made specifically for Wrexham Football Club, they can show that card and the person they're showing it to realises why there's an issue.
Yeah.
And does know to be a little bit more gentle and, you know, take the time. I want everybody who comes to our quiet zone to feel that they're welcomed, and whatever situation happens while they're with us, we will deal with it and nobody will be stared at or looked at or, you know, we want them to feel comfortable.
That's amazing. Yeah, absolutely. And I think, you know, it's quite remarkable, actually, the amount of work you guys have put in. I mean, how long did it take to you know, complete all of the things that you wanted to implement?
It was probably a 12-month commitment from when I started, probably to, because I started my job in the December, and we got the autism friendly status that we applied for, we got by the November the following year.
Wow.
So it was 12 months. And we also, on the back of that, have now started up. I had parents saying to me, our children can't go to sorry.
It's okay. No, it's fine.
But their children can't go to sort of just a football session in half term with lots and lots of children there of all abilities. Their children wouldn't be able to cope with that. So I started getting to the point that people were saying to me, is there anything you can offer? Is there anything you can do? I've now organised, again with Kerry Roberts from the National Autistic Society in Wrexham, we now organise and pay for, and we have a charity element in our football club, the Racecourse Community Foundation. They provide football sessions all through the summer holidays, every half term, for able-bodied children. We now have every single half term and summer holidays, we have put in an autism friendly football session. Wow. So we now have structured football sessions that are specifically for children with autism. They have absolutely taken off more than we could ever imagine. I have organised them with Kerry. I turn up every single session so that I'm the familiar face that everybody knows. They have been an absolute fantastic success. We're very proud of those.
Yeah, it sounds amazing. It sounds like you, it's a lot of work. It sounds like you do a lot of work, and which is nice to see. But
I thrive on the fact that you can see the difference it's making. I've actually had 2 families that have come to our quiet zone who said that they don't even like football, but gave me an example that they'd been to Harry Potter World and something had happened and they were stared at and it had put them off going to, that was what I was told. They said they come to Wrexham, the kids get fresh air, they get out off their Xboxes, they come and have a family time together. Now, those 2 families very strongly told me they've come because of what we've set up and they don't particularly like football. But by the end of the season, their children all had the tops, the scarves, they come so we, you know, we're getting people that are coming because of what we've set up, not just because of the football and Wrexham AFC.
It's fascinating. It's kind of almost like you should really be proud of that model and really look at it as a model to be mimicked by other kind of companies. Like you said, you know, Disney should really take a leaf out of your book. And I think there's a lot that they could learn, because there's a certain amount of arrogance that goes with bigger companies who've been around for a long time, who aren't willing to take the time like you guys have done, you know, taking a year out, hiring somebody to do that job and implement those things, you know, that everyone's worried about cost, time, staff, and all this kind of stuff. And you got to think at the end of the day that, you know, in America as well, it's 1 in 60 kids, you know, so it's even more in America, and nobody really does it. I mean, in the UK, I think we have way more autism friendly things than America and most of Europe, to be honest with you, and Canada as well. It's a bit rubbish, but I think it's nice and it's setting a great example. So yeah, we were talking just literally as when we first started talking on the call before we started recording, we were talking about you guys have just had new owners or something. Do you want to tell me a little bit about that? Because I do have a question about this.
We certainly have. We were approached a few months ago by Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney to purchase Wrexham AFC. At first, I think when the names came out, everybody felt it was not true. They were pretty big names for a little town in Wrexham.
Yeah.
On Monday, the sale has actually gone through. We are now in the process of 2 weeks to a month where everything will change over. So possibly a month from now, we're going to be all set up with new owners. They are I've already had a phone call from Rob McElhenney. He wants my job to grow. He wants me on board. So it was nice to know I'd got a role within the new system.
Mm-hmm.
He also has indicated on a Zoom presentation that he did out to fans that they are very much on board with accessibility and inclusion, and he wants discussions with me. He actually said on day 1 or 2 they will be straight away having conversations on what more we can do and what needs putting into Wrexham Football Club.
Perfect.
I have a big wish list.
Good. I'm glad. Now, this is my question. This is what worried me when it was funny because we'd spoken about doing like an interview months ago, and when I was finally getting around to doing it, it happens on like a week or two around the same time you guys are changing owners, and then another question popped up in my mind, thinking, oh my goodness, are the new owners going to keep and install the same things that you currently have in place for accessibility, and are they going to do more? And that was my question really about the owners. That's the reason I mentioned it, is because I wanted to know, are they still keen to put, because obviously they're the ones going to have to foot in the bill, I guess, because you were fan owned, wasn't it a community?
Yes. Yeah. We're a fan owned community club. I raised, would you believe, I raised all my own funds because there hasn't been readily money available within our club setup.
Yep.
So when I wanted to make the improvements like the sensory room, things like that, I actually came up with an idea that I started selling Wrexham AFC red blankets. I ordered the blankets online. I got our local company Macron to put the badges on, and I went to the club and said, could I have the profit from these to go into a fund to be able to put all the things in the sensory room, buy the ponchos, things like that.
Inspirational, dude.
I was told to order 50, and if I sold 50, I would be very lucky. And I sold over 650 Wrexham red blankets.
Holy smoke, that's incredible.
Thank you very much. I also did quiz nights. I've done all sorts of things to raise my own funds, to have a fund that meant it's given me independence within my role, so I haven't had to keep going to the club and saying I want to
beg for something.
Yes,
it gives you that kind of like, it's like a go-to pot, that you can say, okay, I need to buy something. We actually have readily available funds to buy something that needs to be there or needs to be replaced, which is very obviously, when you're in organizations and companies, it's always like you have to submit the ask, and then it's kind of a bit, like you said, it makes it way better when you're independently doing that. Well, look, in the future, if you need any help with fundraising for anything, I would love to help, like 100%, because of the work you guys are doing. I would love to use any of my platforms or anything to help you guys out. I definitely would do that. And like, I raise money for the National Autistic Society every year, but doing something a bit more closer to home, Welsh would be super awesome for me. So yeah, if you want to do anything, just hit me up. I'd definitely use my powers.
That would be amazing. That really would. Thank you so much.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Okay, so if people want to get in touch with you and ask any questions about it, or if they want to come and visit a game and they're on the spectrum or anything like that, then how would they go about doing this? What are the contact details?
My email address is a long one, I'm afraid, but it's...
I'll put it in the description of the video as well.
Yeah, so my email address is, I'm always available. I'm on Facebook and Twitter, which again, I can give you the details if you could put out for me.
Yeah, I'll put them on the screen here.
I have families that contact me. A Saturday morning, suddenly we're thinking it's a nice day. We're thinking, could we come? We've not been before. Can you talk us through? And I always get in touch with people. And the one thing I do is, if we've got somebody new coming, I will meet them outside and actually walk them through myself. I
love it.
Every single person that comes to our quiet zone, I personally know. I know the family. They feel, I have children that come running up to me to give me a hug. because I've tried to be
Yeah.
the person that the one thing that sort of stood out to me was they really, these families need somebody that they feel they can rely on, and somebody that is a familiar face to them week after week. And that's what was important to me.
It's so important to them
so
as well.
I'm always available via private message, as I say, on Twitter, Facebook, or my email address.
Amazing.
A lot of people have my phone number, and in time I can pass that on as well to people.
Okay, cool. Well, I will leave all of those links and everything down below so people can get in touch with you, and I'll put them on the screen here, your Twitter handle, if anyone wants to reach out on Twitter. But I think that it's an amazing thing you're doing. I think that more people should be looking at what you guys are doing and use that as a model. I honestly believe that, because there's far too many people organizations who don't accommodate or have accessibility for autism. It kind of annoys me a lot. And it's kind of like my mission of what I'm doing as well. So I love it. So on behalf of the autism community, that from my behalf, I'd just say thanks so much. Like this is one of the reasons why I wanted to do this interview, because it's really important to highlight what you guys are doing. So thank you so much for that. It's
my pleasure. I mean, we're very proud of the fact at Wrexham AFC, we were the first club in Wales to become autism friendly. And we were actually the first business in Wrexham to become autism friendly. But I've got to be honest, if we were the 100th, it was still very important to do, and I still would have put everything that I've done, I would have made sure that was in place.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's just a bonus that we were actually the first to do it, and that's unbelievable. So, and
I think you guys are one of the only clubs in Europe that are like have full disabled accessibility for like people with autism, which is incredible. I was reading somewhere about it because I wanted to know if there's any other clubs, and there's very, very, very few, if any others. But I know that you guys are doing a great job. So, right. Well, so thank you for the interview.
Thank you. Thank you so much.